Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome to our 12th Q&A live session here on the Invincible CEO channel. My name is Dede and I am the Invincible CEO, and I am the most fun, exciting manifestation coach you are ever going to work with. And enjoy the videos that we're doing here. I'm so excited tonight. We have an amazing agenda for you. I'm excited for everybody to pop on. Let me know where you're watching. If this is your first time to the channel, if you're coming back, if you've been enjoying the videos, give me some amazing feedback so that we can get you where you want to be in your manifestation story. And we have a very special guest tonight. One of our wonderful subscribers has volunteered to be in the hot seat. So if that is something that you would like to do in the future, I'm going to put something up here real quick. Let me see here. Be a guest in our hot seat. If you'd like to be a guest in the hot seat, there is a link that is in the description box below. There is a link that is in the chat, and I'm going to put it in there again before we are done tonight. Also, we have, I'm really excited about this also, we have a 3-day April manifestation challenge going to be happening the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th of April. It is called Revise Your Past. We are going to use revision. All you have to do is sign up and join our wonderful manifestation community. The link is also in the description box below, and it is also on the live chat. So very, very excited here. I see that you guys are coming on board. Let me know where you are, where you're viewing from, what manifestation questions that you have today, because we do have some questions on the agenda in addition to the hot seat. We have, we're going to touch a little bit about what we talked about last week about the subconscious mind. Leave it alone. You don't have to impress it. It's already impressed. It's actually, most of the stuff in manifestation is backwards. It's not the subconscious mind that has to be impressed. It's the conscious mind that has to be consciously connected to. Once you start to do that shift, everything in manifestation starts to change. We are also going to talk a little bit about revision because time doesn't exist. I put up a really powerful video yesterday. Are you running out of time, or do you have all the time in the world? Let Schrodinger's cat decide. That is so powerful because once you get what we talked about in that video and bringing yourself more and more into the now moment, everything begins to change. All right, guys, I see you coming on. Let me know who's here with me tonight. And of course, your questions are going to be answered. So whatever questions you have, put them in the live chat because right now I can't see the comment section. So if you want to put those in the live chat. So excuse me, let me recap what we have going on. We have the hot seat tonight with our wonderful special guest, Jill. We also have our 3-day manifestation challenge that will be happening in our manifestation community. Sign up for that. It's April 15th, 16th, and 17th. It's Revise Your Past. And especially, we are going to have we have a voting going on right now. You know, once a week we do the vote here in our community for our channel. And every Friday I create a community chosen video. And one of the topics, but right now, if you guys haven't voted, let me highly recommend that you go to the community section after this video and vote on your topic. I know one's about revision. I forget what the other two are. We have so much going on, but they're in a tie right now. They are in a 3-way tie, and voting is open until Thursday night at midnight. So if you haven't voted on this week's community chosen video, that go into the community section. It's there. I've also put up a poll so that you guys can decide. I'm going to be offering a monthly new series. We were doing the moment at 12 noon every day for a month. And now the options that you can choose from is we could do a technique a day for a month, a manifestation technique each day, a different technique. We could do manifestations myths debunked, one a day. And these are going to be shorter videos, maybe like 10 minutes long, or how to go deeper into the now moment. They're the 3 choices. So if you haven't voted yet for what you would like to see the next monthly video series at 12 noon, let me know, and we will get those up in a few short days. So I haven't decided yet if tomorrow I'm going to do an moment or if I'm going to jump right in with the new series. It depends how many votes we get, because things move fast here in the Invincible CEO. So as you're coming on board, let me know where you're at. And also, if you have any other questions that you want answered for your manifestation desires, your done deal, your wish fulfilled, if there's something that you might be struggling or frustrated with, any topic is wonderful for us to share. So what I love about doing hot seats, it gives you an opportunity to, one, volunteer and come on board and have your situation, your question kind of looked at from a different perspective. Because when you come into the hot seat, you're going to share where you're at, what you're experiencing, and you're going to leave by the end of the session understanding and having a better idea of what your different perspectives are and what action steps that you can take from the very beginning. Hey, Marjorie, how are you? I was wondering if your name was showing up backwards in the other system. So it is Marjorie. I will make sure I correct that in the system. Hello from France again. I really appreciate you being here, and you just joined the group and the challenge. So excited to have you there. Also, welcome, welcome, welcome. I know everybody seems to be a little shy tonight, but I know they're going to come on board because I know Jill is just dying to get here on screen. I can see her smiling back there. We had a wonderful, wonderful conversation the other day prepping for today. And I know that some of the things that Jill is going to talk about, I see that a lot in my comments. I get emails from you guys. I really appreciate it. And also working with my clients, those of you who have come to me through YouTube, and my clients that have been with me for a whole lot of years. It's like years and years and years. And actually, that's the other thing I did want to mention real quick. Every Saturday at 2 p.m., a new video is going to go up because we do things very differently here at the Invincible CEO. Every week, we're going to put up a new video of a client interview. So not only will I share my client manifestation stories with you, I can read them to you, what they submit to me, but I'd rather you hear it right from their own mouth, right? Let them tell their story of the journey that we've had together. So the past two that I've put up so far have been working with me a good year and a half, almost 2 years directly. And I think actually, Sherry, we've known each other since 2017. But this Saturday going up, Kat, who was in the live seat not too long ago, has actually done our one-day event, and she's also done coaching with me. So she's brand new client, love having that kind of perspective so that she can share with you what her experience has been already working and the huge changes that are happening already in her life. And some of them are physical, but most of them are internal. And that's what I really love when you guys share that. Marjorie says, I made a mistake. No, don't worry. I'll take care of it. And I will correct that because the way that it shows up, I want to make sure that I honor the way people put their name in, but I wasn't quite sure. So I think I welcomed you as James earlier. So I will correct that for you when we're done here tonight. But thank you for joining the community. All right. Well, it's 8:08, guys. And that's a sign right there because that's my birthday. So we're going to get things moving. If you didn't know, I'm a Leo. And one thing about Leos, we like saying that we're Leos. I don't know about any other sign out there. There's no other sign I'd rather be, but I love you all. All right. So let's get this hot seat going. And that's why it's a hot seat, because Leo is all about the fire. It's all about turning up the heat. We're going to do that now. So with no further ado, I am going to bring Jill onto screen. Here
Hello.
she is. Hello. How are you?
I'm great. I'm also another Leo, 8-2 for me.
There you go. I had a feeling that you were. You get that feel going on there. So here you are. Welcome to the hot seat. We had a little bit of a conversation the other day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you take a few moments, introduce yourself. Now, remember, this is going to be on the YouTube channel for a really, really long time. So whatever you want to share is fine. Let us know a little bit about yourself, and then also why you chose to be in the hot seat, and what are we going to talk about today?
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. Again, my name is Jill. I'm in Pennsylvania. And last year, I found my dream property. It's everything I want in a house. It has 80 acres because ultimately I'd like to have an animal sanctuary. But it hasn't shown up in my reality despite falling asleep to the wish fulfilled many nights. So that's why I'm here today. I feel like the house is mine, just hasn't showed up yet.
So it's shown up in pictures? Is that what you're saying? Like when you're saying it hasn't shown
in
up
pictures, it hasn't shown up where I'm the occupier of it. I see it in pictures. I drove buy it and saw it in the 3D, but not as me living in it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So give me an idea, because we briefly talked, but give me an idea of where are you in your manifestation journey? Have you been doing what we would consider a long time, more than a year? What techniques or processes do you use that you actually love, that you feel connected to?
I don't know when I started. I would say probably sometime within a year. And I really like um, listening to meditations and falling asleep in that state, and also doing them when I wake up. Um, so I did try scripting. I'm not a writer. Like I felt like I couldn't get my ideas on the paper fast enough. So, and also when I visualize in meditations, I can't see it. Like I know some people can actually see things in their mind's eye. I just get the feelings of like what it would feel like.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And so what would you like to see happen in the next 3 months?
I want to be in that house. I want to be in that house, paid off, plenty of money to fix it up the way I want it, not have to worry about bills, and also in a way that benefits everyone. Like, I don't want to come into money in a way where, for example, someone would have to die and I get an inheritance. Like,
Yeah.
only good things.
Okay. 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 So I'm going to ask you a few questions before we get into the heat of this. So do you believe that you're the creator of your reality?
I don't know. Sometimes I think I do, and sometimes I waver. So I just try not to. I just try to like accept it as I am, like kind of fake
Okay.
it till I make it.
Okay. And if you're not the creator of your reality, then what or who is?
God.
Okay. Okay. And what does that mean to you? Is that just in a personal spiritual sense? Is that in a religious sense? Just getting a gist of what your background is and where you're coming from.
Well, I grew up religious, so I there's that, and I don't really
Okay.
consider myself religious anymore, but I'm spiritual. So I do
Gotcha.
believe there is something beyond us. Um, so I guess the way I look at it is I can ask for these things, and um, if God wants me to have them, I'll have them. But
Okay.
I also look at it this way too. Like when I think about being in this house and having the animals, my heart lights up. Like it just feels like
Okay.
that's the life I'm meant to live. So
Okay. Gotcha. So one thing that you mentioned earlier was really important, that you've tried some different things, and scripting doesn't seem to be for you. And that's a really important part that I want to highlight here, because there's so many different techniques that we can't possibly do all of them. So it's just like finding the ones that you really do resonate with. But let me ask you the next question. How all in are you on getting this house? And do you know what I mean by that?
yes, I think I'm there because someone mentioned, oh, well, just find another property, and I didn't even consider that because no, this is my house. But I think what kind of scares me is just it's a lot of property to maintain. It's a lot of expense. And like, where's the money going to come from? How is that going to?
Okay. So there's a lot of conditioning that's being put onto what you're asking for, right? So if we say for now that the subconscious mind is what most people call the inner me, the higher self, or God, or the universe, right? Your subconscious mind. And
Mhm.
that is the part of you that is your automatic programming. That is the part that's right now beating your heart. It's pumping your blood, it's digesting your food, eliminating your waste, perspiring, it's all of that. And how awesome for us that we don't have to beat our heart every second, be consciously aware, because we'd never get anything else done, right? So when we have those automatic programs going in, and they allow us to move around freely in this environment, it's really important to understand then the role of the conscious mind in the now moment as a point of discernment. So your subconscious mind is, we would say, the real you. I call it the inner me. And in my videos, I've called it me. I've named it Mimi. My subconscious mind is Mimi. My conscious mind is Bob. And when you, whatever the belief is, do you feel like you're separate from your subconscious mind?
I think I do, kind of, because like I know there's things that I'm not aware of. So if I wasn't separated, I would know everything. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Well, you do know everything, but we don't need to know everything, all of it right here, right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that's where the conscious mind comes in. The conscious mind is a point of focus. So if we give an example that, remember the XY graph in high school? Let's
Yes.
call that the subconscious mind, right? And most of the time we had like 1 through 10, this way, negative, this way, this way. But we knew that it was all the numbers and it went on and on and on. It just wouldn't fit on the paper. And if your subconscious mind is everything, and your conscious mind is when the teacher would say, find 3x, 2y, and you put a little dot. You get that? You get the analogy. Okay, so you put that dot at the point of focus. And you can then pull back from that point of focus, and the teacher can say negative 2y, negative 3, and you'd go over there, x and y.
With my awareness, my focus.
With your awareness, right? And you're still aware that the first dot exists, and now you're aware of this, but you're also aware, this is where the subconscious comes in, that all the other numbers that you haven't dotted yet are there ready to be dotted at any time. Does that make sense? They could be half numbers, they could be decimals, they could be negative, they could be positive. They all exist on that chart.
To infinity.
To infinity, right? That is your subconscious mind. And in order for you to consciously be able to make a choice, you are connected. Not only are you connected, but you are it. Because with manifestation, you can't get it wrong, but you can make it long. And what makes it long is when we put conditions on top of what we asked for. Because if you think of it, another analogy I like to use is like a Google search. Google is the subconscious mind, and you putting in your request. Now, if you put in dogs and you hit enter, you're going to get a whole lot of stuff. That's the same thing with your subconscious mind. But if you say chow chows, then you've now conditioned the search. Because the dogs conditions the search, because it conditions it's not going to bring you houses, it's not going to bring you cars. So every time we go a little bit deeper, that's what the conscious mind's job is. We start with dogs, then we went to chow chows, then we could say cream chows, then we could say cream male chows. And every single time we keep conditioning what we're requesting. Does that make sense? So there's nothing wrong with the conditioning. But what I hear that you're doing here is, here's this house. This is my house. That's all you had to do. You don't have to go any further. Now, but I hear you speak of it like you're still separate from it. Why are you still separate from your house? And whatever comes up is what we need so that we can kind of work through that.
I can't afford it. I can't even see it right now because I don't have the proof of funds required to see it.
Okay. So do you see how they're conditions?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a trained interrogator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we have a level of proof called beyond a reasonable doubt for a criminal case, and preponderance of the evidence for a civil case, which is still, preponderance of the evidence is still a lot. What is your proof right now in this now moment? Because that's all that exists. What is your proof that it's not your house?
Technically nothing.
You were pretty adamant a few minutes ago that you couldn't get in there.
Okay, well, it's like I'm a house divided. Part of me is like nothing is like I don't have anything that I can show you that it's not mine. But at the same time, I think
Stop right. That's what we're going for.
Okay.
Okay. Because in this now moment, what is it, 20 after 8 p.m. on whatever day it is, I don't even know, there's no proof. Because if you were to go into a court of law with what you just said here, you wouldn't be able to testify because it's all hearsay.
This is where my mind goes, yes, but the owners of the house could come in with their deed.
Wait. But you said it was your house. See, I'm playing the role of your subconscious mind right now.
Okay.
So either it's like Schrodinger's cat. It is and it isn't. Did you have a chance to watch the video yesterday? Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to put your house in the box instead of the cat. Jill's house. We're not going to call it Schrodinger's cat. We're going to call it Jill's house. Okay. So we got your house in the box. And it is and it isn't yours. What's going to happen when you open up the box? Is it going to be yours or is it not going to be yours?
I'm going to choose that it's mine.
Okay. Now, remember in the video yesterday, excuse me one sec. I just want to close the door over here. The puppies are barking. I don't know how loud they're coming across. Excuse me one second. Oh my goodness gracious. There we go. All right. So what we said yesterday is that when you go to open the box, I want you right now, this is going to be where we're going to anchor this energy in. So we haven't opened it yet. I don't want you to think. I don't want you to wish. I don't want you to hope. I don't want you to want. I want you to declare. Okay? Declare what, and I want you to say it in first person because we're here in the now moment. Because we're not looking back at anything. That's third person. So what's going to happen when we open the box?
I'm going to have my house.
Okay. Still a little passive. So
I had my house.
Or I am the owner of my house. Right?
I am the owner of my house.
Okay. But I want you, come on, Leo friend. I want you to say, you know, when we get conviction going, you know, when that stubbornness comes through, you want what you want because you want it the way you want it, how you want it done. Right? Okay. So now when we open this box and you declare that is my house, I own that house. I am that owner. And if the 3D reality is to give you a little pushback and say, no, you're not, who's the operant power? You or the 3D reality?
Me.
You. Oh, good. Good. You got that down. Yes. Yes. And what does it mean if you've declared something, but you're still getting the pushback?
It's the old reality burning through. It's the echo.
It's the echo. And it just means it still has a little bit of extra consciousness to it. So what's the solution? Do you remember? And it's okay if you don't. You didn't know there was
don't give it my attention. It's just an echo.
It's an echo, but we're going to flood the consciousness with the choice that's yours. So just now there's a little echo and we need, so if we were to say that photocopiers, let's say the old reality had 100 copies and you declared that it's yours, but you were at maybe 40 copies. So do you see how it weakened? We got to knock the 40 out of the 100. So there's still 100 copies over here in the old reality to our 40. So we got to keep making copies, keep flooding the consciousness. And you have to be defiant. You have to be a rebel and you have to bungee jump. So you did have some action steps to do. So from what we talked about the other day, what were the action steps that you were going to take, the bungee jump?
I contacted my realtor to see the house, and the house is at least 7 times more than what he knows I can afford. So that terrified me. I thought he's going to say,
good.
And coincidentally, it was on April Fool's. So I thought, oh, maybe he'll think this is like an April Fool's joke. So I did that. I looked up how to take care of goats and pigs because I saw there's some goats and pigs available for rescue near me. And I also looked at wealth management, like things you need to do and people that I could contact for help.
Okay. So Can you say with certainty that you aren't a recipient of a trust or an inheritance? Can you say 100% absolutely certain that you're not?
I know the answer is no, but it feels like yes, I can absolutely say those things. I do not have a trust,
Okay.
but
All right. But let's
that's
play a
just
little
where
bit.
I'm at.
Okay. Okay. And where you are is where you are. Because when the old reality presents an offering and the offering doesn't match what it is that we've asked for, we have to acknowledge in the moment what's being offered, because what's happening in the now moment is what's happening. But a simple okay, right? So when you said that you did the what we call the bungee jump, and for those who are watching, if you don't know what a bungee jump is, it's when you step out of your normal character and do something that your character would not normally do, because most people suffer from good girl syndrome and good boy syndrome, right? Because you don't want to get sent to the principal's office for breaking the rules or wasting people's time or whatever. But do you believe this is all your imagination right now?
Um, no, but I just try to like accept it as what you're saying. Like, okay, it is.
Okay, so
But
let's,
if I'm being
yeah, absolutely. What you are where you are. But play with it for a couple of days, right? You can always go back to the old way of and it'll pull you back if you're not aware of it. But what if this were a dream right now? You just don't realize you're dreaming because that's how good it is. It's really that good, right? And in your imagination, could you close your eyes right now and give yourself that house?
yes,
Okay, so let's take 3 deep breaths, because and could you give yourself a Lamborghini? Even if you didn't want one, you could give yourself a Lamborghini. You don't even
I
have to
guess.
know what it looks like. You don't, whatever your
Yeah.
version would be. I don't know what one looks like, but I could think of a fancy car. It might. Okay. All right. So 3 deep breaths. Okay. And I want you to keep your eyes open, but get a soft gaze until you have to close them. Just let it happen naturally instead of just closing your eyes. Just keep a soft gaze looking forward until the eyes want to close. And now I want you to look for your inner me, the real you, because you're the spokesperson out here. And you can give her a name if you like, and give her your order for the house. Show her the house, whether you have a printout or you have your phone in your imagination and you're showing her the house on Zillow, and you're watching her and her team take down the exact address. And once she understands, she's going to say, I got this. I got it. I know exactly what you want. And I want you to pay attention. Do you have a sensation in your body that just was felt? It could be a tingle.
Fear.
What's that?
Fear. I
Fear.
felt it in
Oh,
my gut.
no. So a sensation is just a sensation. It's not, we didn't give it a label. So if you
Okay.
have an itch, it's an itch. If you got it, something in your belly fluttering, it's just a fluttering in your belly.
Yeah, a fluttering in my belly and in my chest.
Okay, cool. Okay, because right now, when we stay in the now moment of what's just happening, it doesn't need a label because it's just happening. That's why I called it a sensation. Because what you're going to find when you do this energy work enough and manifestation work enough, fear and enthusiasm feel a lot alike, because they're both on the same coin. One's on one side and one's on the other. So all this time, what people feel as fear or anxiety, because the sensation, they felt it when they had what they would consider a negative situation happening. You don't realize that when a positive situation is happening, it's very, very similar. Because now that's her way of telling you that if there's something in your now moment that matches that house, that's what you're going to feel. Because She can't talk to you in words unless she creates something like me to come and talk to you, right? I'm her spokesperson right now for you. And but what how she speaks is in repetition, sensation, and ceremony. Now, here's the really cool thing with handing her that house. It's no longer your concern that way. And she knows with her team that she needs to bring you everything you need to purchase it, to fix it up, to live there, to have all of the animals. It is implied. Because think about this. Think about if one day you got to be the inner me for another version of you. Would you not take care of her to the T? Would you not go all out for her to the T? That's exactly
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So she's like you times a million. And I know as a fellow Leo, we are overgivers. And sometimes it's hard for us to receive. And when we get to that point of it's hard for us to receive, we put a lot of conditions on things because we believe in the story. So if you could let go that, because in one reality, you do need to be pre-qualified. In another reality, you do need to have the money ahead of time or whatever qualifications to see it. But that's not all the realities. So this is where another bungee jump where your heart's going to race. It's going to feel like your eyeballs want to shoot out of your head and your ears are going to go this way because you're literally, that's what shifting realities feels like. As many times as I stood on stage and I gave talks and speeches, every time before I'm about to go out there, it feels like I want to run in the opposite direction. And then I get out there and I'm like, here I am. But it's you're shifting realities, and especially when you're doing something you don't do all the time. But when you start to bungee jump a lot, it's sort of like that thing where with an addiction, if you could say that you have to do a little bit more each time because what is a bungee jump today is going to be like nothing. It's like going to the gym of your heaviest that you can lift today is one day going to be your warm-up type of thing. Okay. So that's not the only realtor in the world. And we kind of talked about how you can find another realtor.
Well, it wasn't him. It was the listing agent and the seller, their requirements.
Okay. But that's in one
So he
reality.
was willing to. Okay, yeah.
But it sounds like you're, and this is another Leo thing until you get over it. You're playing by the rules. But if you're playing by the rules that you didn't make, you're in somebody else's dream. Do you get that?
Because I'm the operant power. So in my reality.
And this is how much your subconscious mind, higher self, inner me loves you. If that's the episode you want to play, where there's this house and you want to deny yourself it will allow you to do that.
But I don't want to deny myself it.
So you got to stop telling that story. And as everybody who's watching, if you have any questions for us as we're going along here, please feel free to put them in. So you got to understand, you're the actor, you're the director, you're the producer, all of this you've created. When you have free will until you make a choice. And I've given this example before. If you want McDonald's or Burger King and you choose McDonald's and you go into the McDonald's store, your free will ends at your choice because then it opens up the McDonald's universe. And there's choices within the McDonald's universe. There's Big Macs, there's filet of fish, there's fries, all that stuff. But if you're in McDonald's and you're standing in line and all of a sudden you want a Whopper, you're in the wrong reality. And you can't holler at the employees for not having Whoppers because they have Big Macs. So you as the operant power have to pull yourself out of that reality to go into the reality where you could get a Whopper.
So how do I do that? How do I put myself in the reality? Just repetition, right?
Yeah.
Keep awareness.
Well, repetition is fine. There's nothing wrong with repetition, yes. But in the now moment, when you zero yourself out right? Whether it's 3 deep breaths or you spend 3 or 6 minutes just being in the now moment. And that's something that you can teach yourself. There's a big difference. If I go like this, that's what's happening. But if I say I'm snapping my fingers, me saying I'm snapping my fingers isn't the finger snap. Me saying I'm snapping my fingers is me saying I'm snapping my fingers, but we've made them be the same thing. Does that make sense? Do you get that?
Mm-hmm.
This is what's happening. And what's happening doesn't need a story. So if you're in a story, you're in a character. So if you come out and you decide if you want to still go with your realtor friend or you want to go with a different realtor, you can do that. But if you truly believe that you are in the reality now where that doesn't need to happen, you don't need to have that from the listing agent or because you're the one who put it there. It wasn't that they put it there and then you found out about it. You kind of, your subconscious is always 3 to 7 seconds ahead of you, setting up the scene for you to walk in and deliver your lines. So it's like Schrodinger's cat again. If you believe that there is the qualifications and there isn't, you just showed the reality that you're in, but now you have to go back and this is really cool practice that you can do this because you're meant to test the law. That's the only, and sometimes it may take 3 or 4 times, but eventually you could have your friend come back and say, you're not going to believe this. She changed her mind. That they're so upset that not enough people are coming in. They just want to have a whole bunch of people. They're having an open house, whatever it is. Have they had an open house? Did you find out?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. And usually larger houses will have multiple open houses. So tonight,
It's,
when you're going to bed, you've seen pictures on Zillow. Have you put yourself in the room yet? In any of the
yes,
rooms? Okay. Have you
all
touched?
of them.
Okay. Have you touched stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
the walls, the stone walls, the floor, wooden floor.
Okay. So what I would suggest tonight as you're going to sleep, getting into that drowsy state. So what I will do so that I don't fall asleep right away is I'll sort of semi recline as I'm doing it. And I keep my eyes open in the dark as long as I can, resting as awareness. Because then, and this is something that I taught when I used to teach people how to lucid dream, and you want to induce a lucid dream from, you let your body fall asleep, but you keep your consciousness awake. So the more you can stay awake, but don't worry if you fall asleep, because if you know the story about Neville Goddard, he's in Barbados. Are you familiar with that story? Okay. You're in your house right now. Where you are is that house, but right now your mind is rendering the house that you're in. So if you walk around that house, and tonight when you're sleeping in your bed in the room that you're in, once it's dark, you're in your bed in your house. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to give more reality and speak about this house like you just told me about what the requirements are from those people. Because that's conviction. You spoke with conviction. I can't do it because here's all the rules, right? So now you're going to start making up the rules, because the only person in manifestation and reality creation you have to convince is yourself. Your subconscious mind cannot tell you no. And this is where I wanted to bring up the point that the subconscious mind is already impressed, because if it wasn't, you would have never found the house. And it puts it in a storyline in a way that's very natural to whatever reality you're in. So how did you find it that day? Were you just browsing for houses, or did you know to specifically look for that one?
No, just it's been on the market for a long time. So the first
Because it's
like
your
4 years.
house.
Yes,
There's
yeah.
proof. It's your proof that it's your house. And just know that your mind isn't going to put you in a house for you to lose it right away. So it's going to bring with you all the stuff that you're going to need. So this is going to require you to bungee jump again. And this is the thing that I love. I spent 10 years in sales and I heard a lot of no's. And I had a team that I grew of salespeople, and I would say to them, "Go get me 100 no's." Do you know how hard it is to get 100 no's when you're actually looking for no's? Because when you're looking for no's, you get the yes. And I'm always like, "Come on at me, bro. Tell me no. Tell me no. A double dog dare you. Tell me no." And it's disappointing over and over again because no one tells me no. But that's another thing. You can bring in an assumption. No one ever tells you no. So, did I share with you about the flipping of the coin, heads or tails? I
No.
don't know. Okay. So you never want to be up against me if we have to flip a coin and I get to call it because you've already lost. I will always call tails, and I don't care what the coin looks like. It's a double-sided tails coin. I don't have to look at it. I've stacked the reality. I've stacked the probabilities in my favor. So this is how do you feel the conviction? And someone can come over and show it to me ahead of time, look, heads and tails. I'm like, all I see, I'm not going to argue with them. But when that coin goes up in the air, it's double-sided tails. You get to describe your reality how you want it. And here's the beautiful thing. I got this quote earlier. Let me pull it up. And it said, all desires are born out of fulfillment. And what that means is that the fulfillment exists and you're in it right now. The moment that you ask, the subconscious mind has and probably before you ask, has really set up all the people. But the subconscious mind can only bring to you what you'll allow it to bring to you. So if you really hold on to those conditions, it's going to keep bringing you those conditions. And there's a beautiful quote by Elizabeth Gilbert that said, "No transformation ever begins until you get tired of your own bullshit." So so every time now that there's another thing coming why you can't have it, you're it, you put it there. So let me share a story with you how I get out of those situations. I was helping out a friend a couple years back, and she lived here. I had her come and her daughter live at the house with us. And she was on hard times, so she only gave us a little bit of rent, and then she lost her job. So I said, take a month, 2, and then you're still here, and you can, get caught up after you get back on your feet. And one day she just came up from the basement because she had the whole basement for herself. She's like, I've come to the conclusion you're the reason why my life is so bad. I'm like, me? I thought I was playing the role of helper. I didn't realize that I was the bad guy. I said, I'm the bad guy. She said, you are the bad guy. Not only are you the bad guy now, but my whole entire life, even though we only knew each other 5 years at that point, she said, you're the bad guy my whole entire life. You're the reason why. I'm like, this is wonderful. See what I did there? And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I've been waiting to play the bad guy role. I've been so excited because I told myself that the next time someone told me I was the bad guy and I didn't know it, that I was going to bad guy it like I never bad guyed it before. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment. This is so exciting. And she's like, that's not what I meant. I'm like, oh, but that's what we're going to do. So when the reality brings something to me and says, this is what it is, I don't reject it. Okay. But if I'm going to play the role, there's a big difference in playing a role and not knowing that you're in the role, that you believe this is a real reality. And another, so in your situation, oh, you need me to be pre-qualified? Okay, I'm pre-qualified. And it has to be. Because what you think they're going to ask for, if you walk in and you say that you are, they're not going to ask for the proof because they know the difference. You got to play the role. I would have never been able to go and see the houses I went to see and been a part of had I ever told people exactly where I am. It's none of their business. And their dream characters in my dream, I've given them the script. And when someone shows me that I'm in the wrong script, I don't get upset with them. I don't get upset with the reality. So if I have to come back another day, I come back another day. But most of the time, the reality rewrites itself and comes and finds me. And it's going to do the same for you. So what is your takeaway that you got so far, Jill, that you feel that your next steps? Tell me what you think your next steps are.
I have to come back and say that I am pre-qualified.
Do you feel okay doing that with here's how I would start if I were you, if I may. I'd go back to your friend and say, listen, what's his first name?
Kyle.
Kyle, listen, Kyle, get me in the house. I don't care what you got to do. Pull the favor, do whatever you got to do. Think about the commission you're going to get and tell him that this is the domino that triggers everything. That's the first thing I would start with. He doesn't know that you don't have an inheritance come in. He doesn't know that you haven't won the lottery. But if that's still a no, and again, it's going to be a no if you still feel uneasy. So it's almost like someone is hiring you to go play this role for a TV show. It's nothing personal. You got to take the you out of it and just play these different roles. I have no problem face planting. I have no problem being embarrassed. I have no problem people telling me no. In one of my programs, I have people go up to random strangers and ask them to borrow $5,000. And the reason why we do that is, number one, every once in a while you get a random yes. Somebody goes, I put 5,000 in my car today. I had no idea why 5,000, but had to go, but I just knew I had to take it. But your subconscious mind doesn't know that you're doing an exercise. It really believes you need the money. So let me explain what happened to me one time when I did this. A couple years back, I was having this big event and I literally put every cent into the business and the event. And something unexpected came up. So I went to a good client of mine who's very, very wealthy. And I said, I normally don't do this because I was just like, I always hate to borrow money. It drives me crazy. But I had no choice in this situation. That's what I had to do. And I asked her for it because I knew she had it. And she said, yes. She said, give her about a week. She had her money tied up and that she would have it for me. It wasn't a yes that day, but yes, it was. Within 3 days, another client was referred to me out of the blue for the same exact amount that I asked to borrow because my mind knows that's not what I want to do. I want to do it that way. So I didn't have to borrow the money, but I knew doing the bungee jump would activate it. But when I did the bungee jump, I believed in what I was doing. I believed that she could say yes and she would say yes to me. And even if she said no, that would be okay because it was the activation that I was doing. And then your mind brings it to you in whatever is the most natural way. But you got to trust. And the thing that I would say to you is, one, you have to really start to connect that this is all you. Two, that you are safe in your own imagination. So what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you go back and talk to Kyle and he says no? Maybe a little embarrassment? Okay. But your subconscious mind doesn't know. And if you're gone and he's going to say no, then at least ask him for $2 million while you're there because you're activating it. And that's what my clients do with me is they will ask me the hard questions. They'll ask me to borrow $1 million. I have a client now who has money coming in that she had this big amount of money coming in and she just reached out to me the other day and needed a little bit more to set something up for that. Because if you ask, it is given. And I'm always going to say yes to you. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm giving it to you, but I'm your subconscious mind. So do you feel safe that you can give yourself anything in imagination?
Yes.
Okay. And if you could imagine, what's that?
Now that I know that my subconscious has me, like she's not going to give it to me and set me up to fail.
Yeah. And the thing is, how you know your subconscious has you is that If it didn't want you alive, it would stop beating your heart, and there's nothing you could consciously do to stop it, right? So the very fact that you're alive and breathing, it still loves you. It always has, right? Okay. Do you believe right now that you're safe in your imagination? And if you could imagine anything, would you be imagining this situation we're talking about purposely, on purpose?
No.
No, no. Okay. So that's good, because that's a real big pivot point right there, because you were doing it, but you were doing it unconsciously. You weren't conscious that you were doing it. So once you accept that you're the operant power and that there's no split between you, your conscious mind, and your subconscious, your trinity, right? One is the character, one is the hybrid, which is the point of discernment, which is the conscious mind, and the other one's the creator, but they're all you. And we've been conditioned in this storyline to believe that we're small, but this world needs you to be big. Because if we go back to what you had mentioned about asking God, wouldn't God want you to have this house to help take care of the animals that need to be taken care of?
I would think.
Yeah. And not only that, you don't need to have that reason to have the house, because why wouldn't God want you to have a beautiful home that you felt safe and comfortable in? Because you having what you want, if you're in that reality, that means that's the reality you're projecting out for all the other people that you interact with. Right? So if you would not deliberately dream and do an imaginal act to want a house and deny yourself it, you have to make a promise to yourself that you're going to stop doing that. And I know sometimes it's an old habit, and old habits come back in. But when those echoes come in, I turn into a 3-year-old or maybe an 8-year-old and go, "You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me. You're not the boss of me." I'm always talking to myself. But the thing that I'm also doing is I'm talking out loud. I'm saying, this is going to be, did you know this is going to be the best live ever? This is going to be the best hot seat ever. You're going to have so many amazing ahas within you. And once you start doing these bungee jumps and you realize what the conversation back is from the other person, you just go back and revise. And you revise again, and you revise again. And after a while, if it still keeps coming back, it's only a mirror. It's only a reflection of what you truly. So if you consciously are deciding this is my house, and you know that in your core, then start sleeping there every night. Start walking around there during the day. Start looking at the rooms and figuring out what decorations you need. And really go deeper into your wealth management. Because if you start preparing for what's coming has to come, because it's already here. It's already done. So I still feel a little wobble in your energy. What's going on? It's a lot. It's a big paradigm shift. What's going on there?
Well, I was just thinking, if this is my reality, I don't even need to see the house before, like, I already know I'm going to buy it. I want to buy it. So, do I even have to see it before I have the money?
I would say to you this, that if the seeing it is pulling you apart, then no. But if you really want to induce a quicker transition, then yes. Because if you're trying to avoid the bungee jump, again, you can't get it wrong, but you can make it long. So whenever you got to think of the old reality, there are gatekeepers, and you want a gatekeeper in all the realities, even the best ones that you're choosing, because that means the reality can't just shift without you realizing it. Right? You can't have the rug pulled out from under your feet. So when we say, like, accountants are gatekeepers for what it is that they do, so they're always going to be saying, here's the importance of this. Right? Teachers are the gatekeepers of their classroom because they need to have an organized classroom and run their classroom a certain way. So that's the gatekeeper of the real estate market. But I had another client up in North Jersey. and it was a couple, they wanted to sell their house, and the amount that the real estate person told them to sell it for, when I went in the energy and felt it out, at the time, I gave them $38,000 more. At that time, they didn't put it on the market, but in a short amount of time, it went up the value of 38,000 more. So then they just said, oh, well, I got that right. Let's put it on the market. The real estate agent gave them another amount, and I went 100,000 higher. They went with my number, not the real estate agent, even though the real estate agent had all the reasons why it was too high. Nobody was going to. You have one person that's going to buy your house, and you're creating them. So you got to imagine the owners of the house at settlement saying to you, you're the perfect person. There's nobody else we want in our house, in this house. We knew it was yours the moment that we saw you. You got to get the whole script for everybody. If they're busy saying that, they can't be saying to you, well, you're not qualified. Make sense? So yeah. So do you have any other questions?
No.
No. Do you feel like you got a resolution to what you need to do?
Yes. Yes.
Why the hesitation there?
The old me, the echoes, and then I remembered, nope, but I am the operant power.
And that's the thing where when this heart starts to beat real fast and it feels like everything's going to explode, it's the excitement of moving into a new reality. People want to know, did I shift? Shifting can be very subtle, but most of the time, if you're shifting and there's not a whole lot going on energetic wise, you're in a very similar reality to the one you were in. Because just imagine if you realized you had a lottery ticket and you just won $500 million. Can you imagine the reaction in your body that you're going to have? Right? So expect those kind of things. Don't shy away from, because all that's happening is a sensation in the body. It's not fear. It's not happiness. It's not enthusiasm. It's just a sensation. We get to put a label over everything. You want those people begging you to buy their house. Yeah. And I would find out what furniture they're going to leave behind too. Because usually in really big houses, you can negotiate a lot of the furniture because there's a lot to move that kind of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, we will definitely be keeping up with you to see what it is that's going on. And the more you bungee jump, the quicker this moves. And I'll even say to people, if they don't know me that well, you're probably going to think I'm crazy, but I'm that crazy bridge jumping friend your mother warned you of. You know the one, right? If all your friends are going to jump off the bridge, I'm like, do you want to bungee jump with me today? Let's do this. And you'd be surprised at how many people want to be a little mischievous in what they're doing because they're so used to the regular, ordinary customers. I think Kyle is going to have a big shift. I think you've had a big shift here today. All right. Well, if there's anything else.
No, thank you.
You did good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Round of applause for Jill for being so wonderful and sharing her story. And we will be getting updates because we know we're going to want to know when the housewarming party is because we're all coming. We'll do one of our.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
We're not that far. We're not that far apart. All right. Wonderful. I'm going to take you off screen now. And guys, thank you all for being here. I really deeply appreciate you. I know you guys are quiet in the comment section tonight. And it is just because you're so diving into what we're talking about here. If you are interested in being in the hot seat, you can apply. All you have to do is go into the description box. There's just a tiny little get together we have to have beforehand to see if you're a good fit and if what you want to talk about can be talked about here on the channel. And then if you haven't signed up for our 3-day manifesting event in April 15th, 16th, and 17th, that's also in the description box below. The other thing I did want to mention, and I'm going to put in the community section too, I am having a 2-day sale, a buy one, get one for one-off coaching sessions. So if you buy a 30-minute coaching session, you get one free. If you buy a 60-minute coaching session, you get one free. You have 3 months to use both of your sessions. So I will be putting that information in the community section if that's something that you're interested in. I don't do this very often, but the person who is mentoring me gave me a challenge. So this is what I'm doing here. I'm offering it to you. And I would love to help get you into your done deal, into your home, into your relationship, into your bank account, whatever it is that you want. It's a short amount of time for you to get what it is that you desire. You just have to flood your consciousness with what's wanted while letting the old residual burn off. And we can talk about this so much here on the channel, but it's a whole different thing bringing you into the experience of having it. And how you know you're into the experience is you're doing bungee jumps. You're being that rebel. You're doing things that the old you would not be doing. I think it's Dr. Joe Disbelief that says you have to give up the habit of being yourself. You have to create a whole new character, a whole new version of you. And we bring with it all the stuff that we love about ourselves. But there's so much that's different in how that version of you speaks and acts and engages with the reality and other people, that until you bring yourself into the experience of it, a lot of this is just a whole bunch of talk. And that's what we want to take this from being so much about the talk and into the experience, because that's where life is happening. It's happening right here, right now. So thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate you deeply. We will be back live again next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. And I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Like, follow, subscribe. And share the channel. I appreciate everything you did for the amazing growth that we've had here over the last couple of months. It is my biggest joy, because all I want to do is see you win big, and win all the time. I want to see you in your homes. I want to see you driving your cars, having the relationships of your life, growing your business, expanding your career, whatever it is that you want. We want you to realize that you're safe in your own imagination, that you're imagining everything that you've been imagining, maybe most of it unconsciously, and now we're going to bring it conscious. We're going to start consciously creating the life and the reality of your dreams. All right, guys, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this. And there will be a link for all the other lives. If you haven't seen those, we will put the playlist up at the end of this video so that you can enjoy those also. Have a great evening, and we will see you next time.